all the youth that are here. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to maybe start off by explaining a little bit about my approach. I tend to want to have a hands-on approach to things. So I'd said I was going to be here at 9, but I arrived at half past 8. I wanted to just get an idea of how things are. I've walked around my offices. I wanted to see where people work. I wanted to see how people do their work. So I am more a person that operates through a concept known as management by walkabout. The director said that he wants to know the new focus, my focus. I don't have one. Because my focus is a focus that belongs to Patrick Zhuwao. I am appointed by the President of the Republic, and I am appointed by the President of the Republic to do what the President of the Republic was elected by the people of Zimbabwe to do. When President Mugabe went out seeking an election in 2013, he went out on a manifesto. And the key components of that manifesto was taking back the economy, indigenize, empower, develop, and create employment. I used to be a bit active on social media, but one thing that I noticed is that when discussions at a political level got to a certain stage, you would find opposition forces will now ask the question, where are the 2.2 million jobs that were promised in the manifesto? And that question is a question that is really critical for young people. And one of the things that I've taken upon myself is to be able to be at the forefront of asking where are those 2.2 million jobs? Because I think the most critical component for young people is employment. Because for as long as you are employed, you can deal with issues of housing. For as long as you are employed, you can deal with issues of health. So the issues of employment become very critical. This ministry, I think at some point used to have an employment creation component, and I think that component still resides within the ministry. As ministers, sometimes we tinodzirwa, and kanatadzirwa, we tend to forget what it is that we're supposed to do. And I think a couple of weeks ago I wrote an article in the Zhuwao brief, which was about being an inconvenient youth. What does it mean to be an inconvenient youth? And I think youth are really meant to be within the governance of a country, are really meant to be the equivalent of pain. You know, pain is something that is uncomfortable, but it alerts you to problems that you must address. And the Zimbabwe Youth Council becomes the institutional framework within which youth can be inconvenient in a very, very structured manner. And that inconvenience of youth must force us as the executive to address the concerns of the youth. But my concern when I look at the Youth Council at the moment is that the Youth Council is operating at a national level. We've got a national board. I think there have been efforts to establish provincial boards, and there are no district boards. So the inconvenience of the youth is actually not the inconvenience of the youth. It's the inconvenience of a few people that have got access to a few leaders. And that is what we should not have. We should have a situation where we put in place a proper institutional mechanism that allows the concerns of the youth to be addressed. And this is my thinking in terms of how we look at that. We have a manifesto that the people of Zimbabwe bought when they went into elections, and we must implement that manifesto. That manifesto promised 2.2 million jobs. And when the question is asked where are the 2.2 million jobs, there is hardly an answer which says, no, 5 jobs were created here. And this is where I believe the Youth Council ought to be coming in. The Youth Council ought to be assisting young people to be able to identify where there are opportunities, to be able to identify where there are gaps, to be able to identify where it is that they can place themselves and find roles. But that cannot happen when the Youth Council is only operating at a national level without any linkages to the ground. The issue of employment really talks to the state of our economy. It really talks to issues of economic empowerment. I remember when I started doing economics whilst I was still at school. At that time, the economy was with 3 factors of production: land, labor, capital. And now when you go to more recent texts on economics, they will tell you that there are 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. With regards to land, land is now being construed as all natural resources, and we're a country that is heavily endowed in natural resources. Labor, we're a country that has got people that are unemployed and in a lot of instances underemployed. Capital, that becomes a challenge. And enterprise is something that we need to be able to develop. And this is where I see space for the Zimbabwe Youth Council. I believe young people have got the wherewithal to be able to be innovative, but that innovation needs to be shared, it needs to be nurtured, and it needs to be promoted. And this is what the Youth Council should do. We should put in place the institutional framework that will allow for that enterprise to be there. Once you have enterprise and you already have the natural resources, the land, and you already have the labor, capital will then flow. So I think we need to be able to look at the issue of employment from an economic development perspective, and also look at the factors of production and how it is that we're able to mobilize those. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to take too much time, but I want to be able to say that as I come into the Ministry of Youth, Indigenization and Economic Empowerment, I am hoping to be able to put in place, through the Zimbabwe Youth Council, an institutional framework that allows the youth to be an inconvenient youth, that allows the youth to act as that pain that enables the system of the body, the system of the nation, to identify that there are problems that need to be